is a pledge of allegiance, followed by a silent moment of reflection. So please remain standing following the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And we'll have the reading of the notice, please.
The adjourned annual meeting of the Marathon County Board of Supervisors, composed of 38 members, will convene at the Marathon County Courthouse Assembly Room, 500 Forest Street, Wausau, on Tuesday, December 17th at 6 p.m., and the agenda was duly signed and posted.
Thank you. I would like to request everyone silence your cell phones and any other electronic devices as to not be an interruption to the meeting, and thank you for your indulgence. And we'll move on to roll call. I'd ask everyone that is present, please sign in.
Matt Boots here.
Thank you, Supervisor Boots. Supervisor Hoppe, could you please sign in, please? Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'd like to welcome the visitors that we have with us joining us this evening, along with the viewing audience, and thank you for your interest in county government. We'll move on to item number 7, that is 15-minute public comment period. I didn't have anybody approach me, and no one approached the clerk, and so we will move on to item B, education presentation and/or reports. Standing committee chairpersons or designees. Any reports by standing committee chairpersons? Supervisor Robinson, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Human Resources, Finance, and Property Committee met earlier today, and one of the items we discussed was just follow up to the 2023 audit. And ironically, Ryan from Baker Tilly, our auditor, contacted me this morning to talk about what we should do about this year's audit for 2024. But I want to commend Samantha Fensky and administration. There were a number of issues that were identified in the previous audit, and they put together a plan relative to correcting them. I would encourage you to review that plan. It's contained in the Human Resources, Finance, Property Committee's packet today. But I think we're trying to resolve and look at those issues seriously, look at the internal controls and reconciliation, and providing you with the financial reports on a regular basis going forward. And so there's a number of action items in there, and please look at that. And if you have questions, let Samantha or me know. Thanks.
Okay, any other chairpersons or designees, any reports? Okay, we will move on to item C, consent agenda. Items C9 through items C13A3. What is your pleasure? Motion by Supervisor Drabek and seconded by Supervisor Conway. Any discussion on agenda items C9 through items C13A3? Okay, we'll proceed to vote.
Supervisor Boots, aye.
Supervisor Boots, aye. Thank you. And we'll proceed, and the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you for that. We'll move on to resolutions. Item D14, to approve the annual county forest work plan. Item R58-24. Motion by Supervisor Kroll and seconded by Supervisor Mask. Any discussion? We also have the forester here with us this evening, if there's any discussion. Any discussion? Maybe I would be remiss if I didn't give the opportunity for the forester to make a comment on the annual plan if he so desires, without objection. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so this is a work plan that is required by state statute 2411. As being part of the county forest law, we need to pass a county forest plan every year to get certain grant funding, primarily the forest administrator grant that funds 1/2 of my salary and fringe benefits. So it's a pretty important resolution to be passed for me. I can answer any questions that you may have.
Obviously, number one has to be compensation, so thank you for that. Any other questions or discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Supervisor Boots, aye.
Supervisor Boots, aye. Thank you. And we will proceed. And the motion is carried, but is not unanimous. Thank you. Moving on to item D15, the application for county forest acreage share loan payment, item resolution 59-24. Motion by Supervisor Rosenberg and seconded by Supervisor Mask. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Supervisor Boots, aye.
Supervisor Boots, aye. Thank you, and we'll proceed. And the motion is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to item E. E16, a resolution approving the grant application for potential future forest land purchase, Resolution 60-24. Again, motion by Supervisor Rosenberg, second by Supervisor Robinson. And I would invite the forester, Mr. Loveland, to explain this a bit, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a resolution that would allow the County Forest and Parks Department to apply for a state grant and for securing an appraisal on a piece of property that Mr. DeBoyak actually called me and asked if we'd be interested in purchasing. The land is contiguous to the Corona Forest Unit. The town of Reed has gone on record supporting the purchase, and we're looking just to secure an appraisal, negotiate, and then if we can negotiate a reasonable price based upon the appraisal, we would come back with another resolution through the committees and county board for the actual purchase. So this would just allow me to secure the appraisal and negotiate and come back with an offer.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Supervisor Boots, aye.
Supervisor Boots, aye. Thank you. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried. And we will move on to, from the Public Safety Committee, approving the 2025 Joint Powers Agreement for Marathon County E911 and NG-911 System, Resolution 61-24. Motion by Mask, Supervisor, and seconded by Supervisor Wilhelm. Any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Supervisor Boots, aye.
Supervisor Boots, aye. Thank you. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. Thank you. We'll move on to Human Resources, Finance and Property Committee, item G18, a resolution to allocate the remaining unobligated and unencumbered American Rescue Plan Act funding to comply with the U.S. Treasury guidelines. Resolution 62-24. This does require a 2/3 majority vote. Motion by Supervisor Poole and seconded by Supervisor Robinson. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote.
Supervisor Boots, aye.
Supervisor Boots, aye. Thank you. And we'll proceed. And the motion is carried, but is not unanimous. We'll move on to item G19, approval of the Deputy Sheriff Collective Bargaining Agreement, Resolution 64-24. And motion by Supervisor Robinson, seconded by Supervisor Lemmer. Administrator Leonard, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And just a brief overview. This went through HR Finance today. They received a presentation, as did Public Safety recently, regarding the ongoing negotiation with the Deputy Sheriff's Association. So each of you at your chair, I believe, does have a printed out version of that resolution. Essentially, at its core, what it does is it does ratify the negotiated agreement between the county and the Sheriff's Association, the Deputy Sheriff's Association. I can advise that the Deputy Sheriff's Association did earlier ratify this agreement as well. The wording was being finalized in HR Finance just before this meeting, so that's the reason why it's on your chair before you today. One other piece, an announcement that was made following the, or I should say in connection with the resolution moving forward, was the direction to Marathon County Administration to work with Sheriff's Office leadership to provide for the transition of the lieutenants to the county's existing compensation and benefit plan, and we will bring information back to the committees and the board as appropriate.
Okay, any further discussion? Supervisor Boots, please.
Aye.
Thank you, Supervisor Boots. Aye. We'll proceed. And the motion is carried and is unanimous. We are down to item H, miscellaneous business, announcements and/or requests. Any announcements and/or requests? I will make one announcement that Supervisor Jacobson has tenured his resignation, and so we will be listing advertising for that position as spelled out in our rules. And any other announcements? Okay, with that, we are down to item 21. Motion by Supervisor Cavalli is seconded by Supervisor Drabek to adjourn. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We stand adjourned. Ladies and gentlemen, we have coffee and cookies available. We also, I want to wish each and every one of you a happy holiday season and look forward to working with each and every one of you in the new year, 2025. Thank you.
Holy crap. Warm me up.